Hello, and welcome to the Cygnus Systems tutorial on the password manager Keeper, which is available for all staff members as part of the Complete Care agreement with your company. This tutorial will help familiarize you with what to expect as we roll out Keeper to your users. The tutorial is meant to give you a little background on what is a password manager and why it's important. After that, we will go through the steps to install and set up Keeper on your computer. In our electronic world today, we are very dependent on user logins and passwords to access our websites and applications. With the need for security, the recommendation is never to reuse passwords and to keep each one unique. One survey reported that an average person has over 80 user IDs and passwords. Think about your own world. How many do you think you have? A password manager is an application that manages, organizes, and stores your passwords in a secure environment that only you control. Your passwords are stored in a secure cloud storage that will allow you to securely access your passwords from multiple devices and anywhere in the world. In the previous slide, I had you think about the number of user IDs and passwords in your life. If you're like most of us, that is a significant number, and trying to remember them all is a challenge. The days of keeping your passwords written down or saved in an unprotected document are over, especially when the passwords are stored under the keyboard or on a post-it note taped to the computer monitor. The reusing of the same password for multiple locations is also very discouraged. Password managers will be your new place to store all of your passwords. Instead of trying to remember all of your passwords, let the password manager do the work for you. And all you have to do is remember the password for the manager tool itself. With your passwords stored in an encrypted cloud vault, you will have the ability to access your passwords from multiple types of devices. If you have internet access on a device, you can get to your passwords. Password Manager will also give you the flexibility to share specific passwords with other users of the same password manager. With the ability to share passwords, you will have the ability to grant specific permissions for each type of share, such as read only or edit. While passwords are the primary concern for password managers, there is also the ability to save credit card, address information, and other items securely as well. Cygnus will set up your account in our password manager called Keeper. The user ID will be your company email address. You should receive an email from Keeper similar to that shown. Click on the Set Up Your Account Now, and this will open a web browser and send you to the Keeper webpage for you to set up your account. You should see the web page shown. It will already fill in your email address. Just click on the Next button. Now you set up your master password. This is the password you will use to access your password vault. Enter the password in both fields. Check the Accept box and click on Next. Your password should never be one used before. It should be complex, using upper, lowercase, letters, numbers, and a special symbol, and at least 12 characters in length. Sometimes a phrase is easier to remember. For example, my cat is fluffy one! Exclamation mark. Your Keeper account is now created and ready for use. We will now go through some additional settings. On the right, you will see Getting Started. There are 4 settings listed that you will be guided through. In the event you lose the Getting Started or click on the Later button, you can get to these individual settings by clicking on your email address at the top right and selecting Settings. The 4 settings are: import passwords from a web browser, or if you use another password manager, install the browser extension, enable two-factor authentication, and account recovery. I will go over each step in the next set of screens. If you have no stored password in other sources, you can skip the import password screen. The other 3 should be set up. If you do not store any passwords in web browsers such as Chrome, Edge, Firefox, etc., or do not currently use another password manager, you can skip this screen. Remember, you can always get back to this screen by clicking on your email address at the top right of the Keeper web page and selecting Settings. For this example, I will be using Chrome, but the process is similar for other web browsers. For those with existing password managers, I will not go through the individual steps, but it is simply you export the passwords from the other password manager and use this screen to import them. Destroy the exported file when done. Click on the Import in the From the Browser section, then click on the Install from the Keeper pop-up windows. Keeper will download to your Downloads folder a program called keeperimport.exe and generate a one-time code. Click on the copy icon to save the one-time code to the computer clipboard. Invoke the keeperimport.exe program from Chrome's download icon or go to your Downloads folder and invoke it from there. A pop-up window will display Processing, and when it completes, it will request you to paste in the code from step 1 and click on Import. If you have no saved passwords, it will display a message stating that. When the import is ready, it will display a window that includes the password it found. You can review the passwords and then click on Add to Keeper. A pop-up will indicate it is working and end with a Great Work window. Click OK to continue. You should now return to the Get Started and the Install Browser extension should be selected. Click on Install Now. Your default web browser will open to the Extension Store. Click on the Add button and accept any pop-up requesting approval. The extension will then download and install to the web browser. The Keeper site will also show you how to pin the extension to the toolbar. Now return to the Get Started and the Enable Two-Factor Authentication should be selected. Click on Enable Now. A Windows pop-up will request you to select a 2FA method. You can use text or an authenticator app. If you're going to use the app, download the Duo mobile app to your cell phone. Select your method and click on Next. Follow the instructions that display to complete the setup. When completed, it will require you to log back into the Keeper website and use the authentication method you chose. The final step is to set up the recovery phrase. This step is very important. With Keeper, no one, not even Keeper, can see your passwords in the password vault. In the event that you cannot remember your master password, it can be reset by an administrator or Keeper support. But when that happens, all the stored passwords in your vault will be wiped out and you will start with a clean and empty vault. The recovery phrase is the only method available to gain access to your vault if you forget your master password. You will generate a recovery phase. This will include downloading the phrase to a text file. You will need to save this text file in a very secure location so that only you have access to it. You can also print the phrase out, but again, make sure you store it in a secure location. If you do not see the Getting Started window, you can click on your email address at the top right of the Keeper webpage and select Settings. It will then open up the settings screen and you will see Account Recovery. Click on Recovery. Phrase. In the next screen, enter your current master password and click on Generate New Phrase. A confirmation window will display. Click on Generate Recovery Phrase. A new recovery phrase is now generated. Click on Download, and the phrase will be downloaded to your Downloads folder. Remember, save this text file in a secure location that only you can access. Check the I have stored and click on Set Recovery Phrase, and the phrase is now set and any previous ones are forgotten. If you lose your phrase in the future, you can change it at any time as long as you remember your master password. You have now completed the Keeper setup. You can also install Keeper on your cell phone or iPad. Go to the App Store on your device and install the Keeper app. There is no setup. You just use your email address, 2FA code, and master password to access your vault. Congratulations! You are now using a secured password manager. Now, instead of remembering multiple passwords, all you really need is the master password to Keeper, and let Keeper do the heavy lifting of remembering all of your passwords. To avoid confusion in the future, turn off Remember Passwords in your web browser and clear out the passwords. There are many features in Keeper, and there are user guides available for you at https://docs.keeper.io/en/v/user-guides. You can also click on the link in this presentation. For example, one of those features is sharing of passwords. If there is a website that multiple staff use with the same credentials, you can share those passwords with the staff members as long as they are all set up in Keeper. Thank you, and we hope you've enjoyed this tutorial.